Hello YouTube friends. I got the Philco 16 out of the cabinet and I found out something here. I found out that this cover just covers the wires. There's no plug for this. This is hardwired to the output transformer that goes to the speaker. So I just put the cover back on. You had to take the speaker out of the cabinet, and everything came out okay. I mean, it's a little heavy to work with. And here's the radio. Here's the dial. There's a lot of dust on there, but I'm just going to blow that off. I'm not going to use any water or anything on it. So that's what it looks like. Yeah, I guess the dial looks pretty good. I think there's some marks on it. I don't know if the guy who had this put pencil marks on there or not. There's the mechanism. This rubber is kind of dry rotted, and the mechanism doesn't really work too good. So we're gonna have to work on that. Something's worn out in there. See that? Something's worn. It looks like the screws are loose in there. That's what it looks like. Maybe I could just tighten the screws up and it would work. Okay, now for the big part here. Here's the chassis here. Now it has been worked on before, because if I look in this corner down in here, I could see the electrolytic has been disconnected, and they got a new electrolytic right here to replace the old one. But this is an older style electrolytic. It's a Sprague atom, and I think that it was probably many years since this radio has been repaired, so I could replace these. It's not a big deal. And then these power resistors, they look good. They're not overheated or anything. You can still see the original, label on it, right? And it's good. It's good. And this one's good too. It has no signs of overheating or anything. I did find the mystery though. Those wires that went underneath the chassis, I could wiggle them here and follow those wires, and they go here to this capacitor bakelite block, and one wire goes here and the other wire goes here. And if you look closely, you can see there's a resistor here. This is a 1K resistor, and it bridges, someone added that, it bridges across here and here on the capacitor block terminal. So I'm guessing, well, I'm not really guessing, what it really looks like is that the shadow graph meter kind of went kaput, and that's indicated on the schematic. If I could find it again, yeah, here's the capacitor here, and if you follow it, there's the shadow graph meter there. So what happened was, I guess that meter kind of went bad or opened up or something, and they put a 1K resistor in place of the shadow graph meter. I guess that would make the radio work. So the other preliminary we're looking at it here, and still got the original Philco labeled capacitors in there. That's pretty far out. And that's the nice pretty green color, and they're original. That's pretty amazing. You figure they would have been replaced by now or something. So I guess they were pretty good capacitors. I mean, Philco made all the parts for the radio except the tubes. They made everything. Every cotton pick and screw, washer, coil capacitor, chassis, dials. Philco made everything for the radios. and I guess they wanted to keep their supply chain fully supplied without worrying about stocking or just delivery or deliveries coming in or whatnot. They made everything except the tubes. RCA made the tubes. And all these dog bone resistors look original and all that. And the wiring looks pretty good. I mean, there's some cloth cover wiring here, and it all looks good. I mean, I'll double check everything. I mean, this might be easier to repair than the RCA 262. There's a lot less wires in this radio than the RCA. The RCA was ridiculous. RCA had wiring harnesses in there and everything that you had to trace out. This isn't that bad. Now, one thing I don't like about it, what Philco had done, was that schematic's good and all that, but here's like the they give you a pictorial diagram, which is good, and this is the capacitor here where the shadow graph hooks to. They got a little sideways. It's not like that in a radio. And you follow the arrows and it says it's number 34, and that's cool and all that. RCA, they had actually a wiring diagram, and that was kind of easier to follow than a schematic. This just shows where the part is, and then what you got to do is be like a detective and then find yourself the schematic, and then find the it's a good thing I got the schematic. Then you find where that part is located on the schematic, which was hooked to the shadow graph. Where'd it go? Now I can't find it. There it is. You can see number 34 there. So there's a little sleuth work you have to do to find out where stuff goes. So all that's it. It's not. It looks like it's a little easier to work on than the RCA, except for these capacitor blocks, which I had a friend, John, on YouTube sent me how to take these things apart and replace the capacitors in there. And I guess sometimes they put little resistors in there too. Got to check all that out. And I started ohming up some of these coils, and it's pretty difficult to try to figure out how these things are wired. I got to do that a little bit, but part of me says, well, screw it. I mean, I want to fix the radio. So if I come across an open coil, I'm just going to have to fix it. That's all there is to it. Because I want to get this radio working, so I'm going to do what it takes to get it to work. I mean, if it's hard to rewind the coil, I'm going to bite the bullet and rewind the coil. That's all there is to it. I get me some magnet wire. I could figure out something. You know, I get something working on it. But I'm just going to go through it a little bit at a time. Now, that's all there is to it. I'm going to get it working. So that's it here. That's all there is to it here. This, I guess the coloring's okay on that. It almost looks like a fuse. I think it's a resistor. It looks a little dark, but I think that's okay. Well, that's it. That's what I got. So just going to get working on it. And I could ohm some things out. Maybe make sure nothing's shorted, like the power or anything like that. I'm just gonna get going on it. So have a great day, folks, and have a great day. Bye.